I had it, time to go.
Hi, I'm Madame Pamita, and this is Madame Pamita's Parlor of Wonders. You can find me online at parlorofwonders.com. Well, today I'm going to be talking to you about some advanced incense techniques, working with bamboo, charcoal, and herbs and resins to create your own blend of incense for whatever purpose you want. So to work with a charcoal and resins, what you're going to need are some tools. It's not as simple as stick incense or cone incense or even loose incense. It's a little more complex, so you're going to need a few things. The first thing, of course, you're going to need is the charcoal, which you're going to be burning your resins and herbs on. You're also going to need some white ash or sand to lay that charcoal on. You'll need a dish of some kind to burn the charcoal. And then you're going to need, of course, your resins and botanicals and things that you're going to burn. And lastly, for tools, you'll need to have some kind of tweezers or something to hold and grip that charcoal with as you light it, and then something to light it with. Now, normally I use matches for lighting candles and so on, but for lighting these charcoal squares, you're going to need something that has a little more intense flame for a longer period of time. And so for that, I recommend one of these butane lighters, or you could use your gas stove, the ring on your gas stove, the flame there, if you want to use that. So what you're going to do to get started is we're going to first prepare our dish. Now, you can put charcoal on some kind of flame-proof dish, but something like ceramic might crack from the intense heat of charcoal. So what you want to do is put some barrier between your dish and the charcoal. That can be sand. Some people do use sand. Or this is white ash, and this is something that comes from Japan that they use in their incense ceremonies. And it's something that's very nice to use. You could also blend, if you wanted, some magical things in that ash, if you like. But that provides a protective barrier to keep the heat away from your dish. The next thing you're going to want to do is get your piece of charcoal. Charcoal comes in different formats here, these beautiful bamboo charcoal. They come in squares, and they come in smaller rectangles, which are half the size of the squares. And they also come in these very fancy cylinders that burn quite a long time. So depending on how long you're going to be wanting to burn the incense, you're going to pick the size that corresponds to how long you want the incense to keep going. So small, maybe, this will be about 15 minutes or so. And this will be about, 20, 30 minutes. And then this may be even 45 minutes for the big cylinder. So you're going to get your piece of charcoal and put it in something like tongs, or I have these special tweezers that have a wide paddle end that make it easy to hold. And you're going to put that flame on it. Now, in my other video about working with charcoal and resins, I have a different kind of incense that I no longer sell, actually. It has saltpeter in it, and it makes it easy to light. That's the plus. But saltpeter also adds a scent, and it also can be a little not so good for you, for your breathing. So I've switched over to this type of charcoal. Now, because this one doesn't have any saltpeter in it, it doesn't smell like anything. So when you burn your incense, it's going to smell just like the resins only. But the downside of that is that it doesn't catch and get lit very easily. You have to maintain a sustained flame on it for a while to get it up to get it burning. Now, you can see that it's starting to get a little bit white. And then I may turn it around and do the other side. I want to make sure not to get my fingers too close, too far up on those tweezers, because they will get a little warm from being near that flame. So I keep them down toward the end. Now you can see why doing this over a gas ring, a gas flame on your stove might be easier than having the lighter. But the lighter is more convenient. You can take it wherever you want to go. So now we're going to, once we've cut some corners and some edges, we're going to place that on our white ash and let that burn until it's completely white or mostly white. And then we can start with the fun part. So now you can see our charcoal has turned white. It's still burning, and you can see some red parts. If I scrape away the white, you can see some red parts where it's really on fire. This is perfect for us to start putting our resins on. Now, resins are this dried sap from trees, and those are the things that make an incense that you make yourself fragrant. So examples of resins are things like frankincense, benzoin, copal is another one, myrrh is another resin. There's all kinds of resins, and those are the things that are very, very fragrant and make a beautiful scent. Another type of herb or botanical that makes a beautiful scent are woods. So things like sandalwood or sassafras root are woody, and so those will also have a good fragrance. You can also burn leaves and flowers on your charcoal, but those usually don't have such a nice fragrance when they burn. They smell more like a campfire. You can imagine leaves burning in the fall. That's more what it smells like. So you can sort of mix and match and blend, but I always recommend starting with a base of some kind of resin because that's what's going to smell really good. So in our example today, I'm going to be showing you how to make a love incense using benzoin, sandalwood, and frankincense. So this is great because it's a little bit of everything. Benzoin is powdery. If you can see, it comes kind of in chunks, but it's basically a powder. And so if you are ready to use that benzoin at a magical level is used to make happiness and good feelings and peace in the home. As you can see, as I put that on there, boy, it starts really smoking. I'm just sprinkling that on. So if I were doing this incense, let's say for a spell, I would say what I wanted the benzoin to do. In this case, bring about happiness and peace in my home life or in my love. Next, we're looking at frankincense. Now, frankincense usually comes in little grains or big grains. These are lumps of that sap. And these we can just place on. Now, I would recommend probably using that tool of yours, not getting too close to the charcoal, and placing that on. But you see, as soon as we place it on, it starts smoking. Not quite as much as the benzoin. The benzoin's a powder, so. And as long as that's on there, that'll burn and it'll create that. Again, a frankincense is to intensify any kind of spell work you're doing, intensify the intention. So if you were, again, asking for love or peace, you could add that frankincense and really ask for it to be really strong. And then finally, we have a woody herb, sandalwood here. And we can add that. Isn't it fun? It's very magical working with charcoal and real herbs. And you can see that create some more smoke. Now, the thing with working with charcoal and working with botanicals, as I try and talk to you through the smoke here, is that you have to constantly be tending to them. So it's not as if you put down the one that's 45 minutes and you put some botanicals on top of it and that's all there is. You have to be feeding it as you go along. So we'll wait until the smoke dies down and then we'll add some more. So that's how you work with Japanese bamboo charcoal, some ash, and real resins and botanicals to make your own magical, very personalized incense for yourself. I'm Madam Pamita, and you can find me online at parlorofwonders.com. I love this magical smoke. See you next time.